I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into TNA Impact from June the 4th, 2026. This was a pretty okay episode of TNA Impact for the most part. We are still on the road to Slammiversary, which is in about 3 weeks' time. TNA really hasn't even thought about building a card for their biggest show of the summer because Slammiversary is their version of SummerSlam, which is quite odd to me that they haven't really had any matches on the card really even announced at this point in time, which is not good. So they need to work on that. Mike Santana is still directionless. So, there's that. Overall, this show was okay. The Hardyz and Righteous feud, that's going to continue, which is bad because they've been feuding since December of last year. So basically 7 months. That's wild to me. TNA still needs new talent. They brought in Fabian Eichner. He's not going to stay, but I think past summer. So probably around the end of summer. So I have no idea why TNA didn't sign him for like at least a year. They should have. But hopefully they end up re-signing him at some point. They should. Same thing with Daria Ray. They should. Where's Ricky Sosa? I have no idea. So, there's that. The ratings have improved. So, the ratings for last week's show, which was May the 28th, 2026, they increased. They got 195K viewers, which is good. And in the demo, they got a 0.02 in the demo. So that's good for the 18 to 49 demo. Good stuff there. I like that. Again, TNA is going to really be like a roller coaster. It's going to fluctuate. 1 minute it's going to be up. Next minute it's going to be down. Hopefully the ratings can increase going forward since they're going into their second biggest show of the year, which is Slammiversary, right before their biggest show of the year, which is Bound for Glory. So hopefully Slammiversary can do well. Hopefully the build to that can lead to a lot of increasing in the ratings for TNA. So, there is that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Eddie Edwards, he defeats BDE. We haven't seen BDE in months. Maybe he's been on Explosion, or maybe he's been injured or whatever, but it's good to see him back. So Eddie Edwards wins via the Boston Knee Party. Post-match, Fabian Eichner came out. He got beat up by the system. They beat him up. Leon Slater came out to make the save. He took out the system, so that was pretty cool. He did an awesome dive. So I imagine this is going to lead to a 6-man tag. BDE, Fabian Eichner, and Leon Slater versus the system on a random episode of TNA Impact or at Slammiversary. So, there's that. Whatever. This is fine. Moving on, this leads us into the Righteous. They were backstage they were in a field just babbling on about the Wicked Garden match. So, whatever. I don't care about this shit at all. The Hardyz and Righteous have been feuding for 7 months, and it is been awful. Not good. No feud should last this long. I could see 2 to 3 months, but nothing beyond that. Like, come on. Whatever. Moving on, this leads us into AJ Francis. He was on this show. He bragged about his career and losing weight. He said that he did lose some dead weight when he got rid of Casey Navarro. AJ Francis said that he would treat the fans to a new song of his, and he told the DJ to play his song, but then Elijah's guitar played instead. AJ started rapping, which is kind of funny, and then he was interrupted by Elijah. Elijah said he heard the sound of his guitar strum and decided to come to the ring to check it out. So then we see an image of Elijah on the screen. Well, it's actually AJ Francis dressed as Elijah on the screen. That was kind of funny. So Elijah said he had a song he wanted to sing for everyone. AJ gave Elijah a cease and desist letter. AJ said that he's acquired the name and likeness of Elijah, Elias, and Ezekiel, which was hilarious, along with Elijah's entire music catalog. AJ said he essentially owns Elijah. And Elias said he wanted to play a new song called Uncle Phil. Don't Steal Uncle Phil. And then AJ dropped him with a punch via the microphone, and then Elijah was bleeding from the ear. So this is fine, I guess. Am I excited for this? No, not really. Elijah's been with TNA about a good 6 to 8 months now. He's not really done much of anything. He needs to go after some championship gold at some point, whether that's the X Division title or the international title or even the world title. Do something. But Elijah is in basically the Joe Hendry role. That's kind of where they're going to keep him at for a little bit. So he's basically the second coming of Joe Hendry, basically, which is fine. So, there's that. Moving on, this leads us into Daria Ray. She appeared. Daria says she has nothing to do with Indi having her contract renewed. Whatever, who cares about this stuff at all? Moving on from that, Atlanta Black, she cut a backstage promo. She said that she's better than all of the knockouts. She said that Indi Hartwell was desperate and needed to kiss up to management because she wasn't good enough. And then she vowed to win the knockouts title. Atlanta Black has done nothing in TNA. She's been in TNA for 6 months. She's been in there since January. She has not done anything. The only thing I know that she's done is she had a little brief mini feud with Mara Sade, and she has done fuck all since then. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Girl, just go do OF, please. Just do it full time. Just do it. Because you don't give a fuck about this shit. You don't give a fuck about this shit. I mean, come on, fam. You're only essentially working once a month. You're only working once a month. TNA goes live once or twice a month anyway. And then the rest is just tapings. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But she's going to stick around for, I think, a year, and then she's done. Daria Ray, I think her time with TNA is coming to an end just here soon. I think she's just staying with TNA for 6 months. Hopefully, she can re-sign with TNA. She should, and she needs to. So hopefully, she can still stick around in TNA, because I doubt she wants to go back to WWE, and I know good and damn well she don't want to go to AEW. She don't want to go to AEW at all. So yeah, whatever, it's fine. Moving on, Indi Hartwell and Santino Marella, they defeat Arianna Grace and Stacks. It is what it is. Who really cares? They win via the Cobra. So both Indi and Santino, they used the Cobra on Stacks and Arianna, and that was that. I don't care about this shit at all. It is what it is. Maybe this feud will continue on until Slammiversary. Maybe. It should. It should. So there's that. Moving on from that, the Elegance Brand, they were on this show, and they were trying to apologize for what happened to Mr. Elegance last week and everything else. And then the lights go out. And then Rosemary, Mara Sade, and Allie from the Undead Realm, they show up and they scare the shit out of the Elegance Brand. Okay, that's fine, but this is going to lead to probably ultimately, it should lead to, well, first it's going to lead to a 6 knockout tag. Then it should lead into the Elegance Brand, Em and Heather defending the Knockouts Tag Team Championships against the Undead Realm. Whatever combination or Freebird rule they're going to do there. So, there's that. That's fine. Moving on. And that should happen at Slammiversary. The tag match. Moving on. This leads us into Eric Young. Oh my gosh. I wanted to saw my television in half. I am so tired of TNA using these bums. Eric Young, Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Frankie Kazarian, Diener, a.k.a. the Hometown Man, which we haven't seen in at least 2 or 3 weeks. But he'll pop up eventually at some point. But that's the problem with TNA. Make these guys producers and move on from these guys. They are killing the product. They're killing it. They're actually killing the product. They don't need to be on television. Make these guys producers, agents, whatever. Get them off of the product. Please. Enough of these guys. Damn. So, Eric Young showed up. He talked about the cleanse. He talked about getting rid of Joe Hendry, Ricky Sosa, who we haven't seen in over a month. I don't know if he's injured or if he's doing stuff on Explosion, but where has he been? And EC3. Eric Young said he sees through Mike Santana, who is sick from addiction. Eric Young vowed to beat Mike Santana. Mike Santana showed up through the crowd, got a good reaction. Mike Santana said that Eric Young hadn't been relevant in 15 years, which is true. I laughed at that. That was hilarious as fuck. Which is so true. He hasn't. Eric Young has not been relevant since like 2010, 2011. Like, come on. Eric Young said that he's been the only one constant in TNA, and he's seen the company rot from the inside. Mike Santana said Eric was the one who made the company rot, which is true. Eric Young said the fans didn't really care about Mike Santana. They only cared about the shiny new toy and would eventually turn against him. Eric Young said he would power drive Mike Santana, get the title, and take the power back. So Mike Santana took off his sunglasses and vowed to break his foot into Eric Young's ass next week. Pause. Mike Santana wanted to fight right now. So Eric Young kicked Mike Santana in the dick and gave him a power driver. And then Eric Young up the title, and then that was it. So this is fine. It is what it is. Who really cares? Thankfully, this is going to happen next week, which makes sense. I think TNA is going to do that to try to increase ratings for the next couple of weeks before we get to Slammiversary. Don't know who Mike Santana is going to face going into Slammiversary, which is not good because that's their second biggest show of the year, next to Bound for Glory. But TNA should already have challengers lined up for Mike Santana. But then again, their main event scene is so weak. It's so weak. And this is why I keep saying that TNA needs talent. They need talent. It's way too weak. Like, nobody's interested in Eric Young. Nobody's interested in Eddie Edwards. Like, it's time for those guys to go. But this was fine here, I guess. Moving on, this leads us into Mustafa Ali. He cut a promo challenging Casey Navarro to a match next week, which is fine. That should be fun there. That should be very, very fun. Give these guys at least a good 15, 20 minutes. You open the show with that. That would be fucking awesome. Moving on. Lei Ying Lee, a.k.a. Xia Li, versus Mr. Elegance. This is something that TNA needs to stop. Stop with these damn intergender matches. You are on national television. Stop with this bullshit. You're not an indie promotion. Enough. Stuff like this pisses me off because it's not realistic. It's dumb. Mr. Elegance ended up getting the win. Xia Brookside was on commentary. She did a very good job there. So Mr. Elegance, he got the win. It is what it is. I don't care about this at all. Again, TNA needs to stop with the fucking intergender matches. We don't need them to be on television. We don't need them to be on pay-per-views. Nothing. Stop it. Just stop. It makes you look like a fucking indie promotion. Damn. Have some class, please. So, Xia Li showed up, and she gloated, and she said that she's got a title shot, and she vowed to win the title. Okay, that's fine. Cool stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into the main event of the evening. The Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, they defeat the Hardys, the Broken Hardyz, Matt and Jeff Hardy, in Wicked Garden. It is what it is. I don't care about this. There was blood in this match. They used barbed wire and everything else. A couple of barbed wire spots and stuff that happened. So there's that. It is what it is. Who really cares? Vincent and Dutch, they got the win. I don't give a fuck about this. During the match, Jeff Hardy started convulsing and throwing up, which was nasty as shit. Ugh, it was disgusting. I was like, what the fuck, TNA? What are you doing? What are you doing? I guess they let their inner AEW come out. Because this is some shit that AEW would do. What the fuck? So, the match continued on. Jeff and Matt tried to fight valiantly, but they succumbed to the Righteous. Jeff was put on a gurney. He refused to, go down on the gurney, and that was it, basically. And then Vincent and Dutch, they celebrated, and then the lights went out, and then the Hardys disappeared. So apparently, this feud is going to continue. I imagine this is going to lead to a Broken Rules match at some point, probably at Slammiversary, where the Hardys will get their win back, and this feud needs to end like nobody's business. I can't stand this, because this feud has been going on for far too long. This thing should have ended maybe like 3 months ago, or at least ended at a Rebellion back in April. But it is what it is. So, whatever. Again, this was an okay show. The ratings for this show hopefully should do kind of well. I'm hoping they get at least 205 to 210K viewers at least. That would be fine, really. But this was like a middle of the road type of show. This was very filler, and this is not good because TNA is going into their second biggest show of the year. This is their version of SummerSlam. We need really good matches. You don't have anything for Mike Santana to do. I think their plan for Mike Santana is more than likely for Slammiversary, it's going to be him versus Nick Namath, where Nick Namath basically is going to end up winning the TNA World title back from Mike Santana. And they're going to run with that for a while, because Mike Santana, apparently, according to rumors, WWE has interest in Mike Santana. And I do think that Mike Santana should go to NXT. I think he should go there, do well. He would do well on NXT, be a top guy within a couple months, stay there about a good 6 to 8 months, then go to the main roster. And he should do very, very well, right? You could put him in AAA and everything else, too. So there's stuff that you could do with Mike Santana where WWE can make money. So, there's that. I think with it, what they're ultimately going to end up doing is probably Mike Santana will lose to Nick Namath going into Slammiversary, because Nick Namath still has the Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy still from, what was that, last year or this year? I think it was last year, Bound for Glory. So he's had it for a minute. And Frankie Kazarian, he's already lost all his, opportunities. So it's only right if Nick Namath wins at Slammiversary. You continue the feud there. Santana's contract is up in July. We don't know when in July, but it's up in July. Let's say Nick wins at Slammiversary. They do the rematch on a live edition of TNA Impact, where Mike Santana puts his career on the line, and that's where Mike Santana loses to Nick Namath, and then Mike Santana goes to NXT. And I do think that they're going to do that. They're going to still build up Leon Slater. And I think Leon Slater is going to end up winning the TNA World title come Bound for Glory. So they're probably going to end up doing Nick Namath versus Leon Slater at Bound for Glory. So that's probably what's going to end up happening more than likely. And that, to me, would make the most sense, right? Because Leon Slater is really the next big babyface that they have. The guy's hella young. He's 21, same age as Javon Evans. And he's all TNA has right now until they can bring in some new blood, you know. Hopefully they can bring in the Wyatt Six. Hopefully they can bring in Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. They need to retain Fabian Eichner. But TNA right now, they're in a rebuilding stage, and it shows. It really does show. But what hurts TNA the most is their talent. Where's Trey Miguel? Trey Miguel's been out for like 3-4 months. And it's not good. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. But it is what it is. What did you guys think of the show? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.